Today, we're going to be taking a look at how to make your own Coyote Rollers from simple materials from Lowe's or Home Depot. If you're like us, we've got a large coyote population actually right across the street at the wildlife management area in those woods. Hear them light up every night, large pack chasing. We also have 4 of our own wiener dogs, so we've got to protect them. I extended the fence an additional 2 feet using plates on the side of each of the 4x4s, and then I decided to make my own Coyote Rollers because 1, the others are so expensive, and 2, they're typically out of stock. We'll go from here. In making your Coyote Rollers, I use a common fence post tube and end caps. I'll show you how I make those work here in just a minute. But basically, by drilling a hole in the center of each end cap and then sliding them in place on the tubes, you create your own roller. Now, they are a little bit heavier than the Coyote Rollers, which are aluminum, but they do spin freely. And that's the whole key here, is to get spin on the top of your fence. And that's what we're going for. Now, you may notice that I also cut the top edge of the wires off. Let's just say that I didn't want them to have an extra foothold as they get on next to that roller. So now what you'll do is take and attach your first L bracket, and those are slip pins. Get those at Tractor Supply. Slip pins or split pins. You can also get them at Lowe's in the specialty hardware section. And all they are is a pin that is split. You'll put them through your L bracket and you'll attach your L bracket. You'll then take the measurement from there to the top of your next post, where I have another L bracket. Getting that measurement using the end caps that are for termination of fence posts, you add an additional inch for each end cap, subtracting from the total distance you measured between the 2 pivot pins. So if it's 48 inches, you'll cut your tube at 46, put your caps on. You always leave this bracket loose, slide your tube on the end of the pin, come out here and make your final adjustment, screw it down, and then move on to your next tube. Once you've gotten the measurement between the 2 pins on the fence, come back and cut your tube. The easiest way I found to cut this tube, because it is a fairly decent schedule thickness, is to take and mark your tube with a pencil, come back with a pipe cutter, make 1 or 2 revolutions to make a mark, and then you'll cut the tube using a cutoff and a angle grinder. Be very careful, wear safety, eye protection, face protection. These wheels can explode. And if you don't believe me, go out on the internet and look for exploded cutoff wheel in face. It's not pretty. Once you get it cut off, I go ahead and I ground the ends on the grinding wheel on the bench grinder, just to take the sharp edge off so the caps will slide on a little easier. So at that point, let's get this thing cut, and then we'll go and fix the end caps. I'll show you how to drill those and make the pivot points. Now here we have the end caps for the fence post. Notice there's paper on the inside. I've been taking that out just because they fit snug enough as it is, and they will be a little bit of a trouble to get straight. So the extra paper is just another reason to take it out. You'll take it and you'll put it on your bench press, which is the best thing, into a material holder vise. Don't hold this by your hand. You'll end up ripping a finger off. Center it up and drill the hole out. That's all it does to make the pivot point. Once you have your caps drilled, as close to centered as possible, it's not that critical, you'll slide them on the end of your pipe, trying to keep them as square as possible. They will move a little right or left, and you'll find yourself readjusting. You just have to tap them on, tap them back off. You can't do it too hard or pound them on there. They will split. All they are is aluminum. So what you want to do is get it on there square. By the time you put both on there, remember they're 2 inches shorter than what you measured between the pins out on your posts. Go out there, put it up, slide it on one pin, take your other bracket, put the pin in the hole. Remember to give yourself 1/8 of an inch of movement. Screw it down to the top of the post, and you're ready to move on to the next roller. Once you have your roller caps on, holes drilled in the end, take it out and place it on your fence, sliding it onto the pin that's already been mounted. You'll have to take the screw out of your other pin. I just put a temporary screw in order to make sure I had proper distance. You'll take and basically just get it on, and then I'll adjust my distance so that the pin has got 1/8 of an inch of rotation and clearance. Once they're mounted, they're ready to go. Don't worry if you get the holes a little off center. They still spin. Remember, this isn't going to be running all the time. This is only for just in case you have a nighttime visitor come looking for a meal. I'm almost done here. Got about 5 more rollers to make and my project's finished. Good luck to everybody out there, and I hope this helps on the do-it-yourself side, because I know that the other is expensive, and a vet bill or a lost pet will cost what this cost here. I'm making each one of these rollers somewhere for in the neighborhood of $11. That's with all the hardware installed, L brackets, screws, split pins, caps, and tubes. I got it all at Lowe's. So about $11 a section versus the cost of the Coyote Rollers. And these will last, and if I ever have an issue, I can just go get the parts at Lowe's. Hope this helps. Some people may be curious on the Coyote Rollers what the actual hardware was that I used. Here are the L brackets. They are 2 by 5/8, 51 millimeter by 16 millimeter. So 2-inch L brackets, zinc coated. And then the slip pins or tension pins were 1/4 inch by 2-inch zinc coated split pins or tension pins. Here's another bracket that I just got through making. There's the split pin. You have to squeeze it with a pair of pliers, put it over a hole, tap it in, get it about centered. There you go. Pivot pin. I went ahead and had an inch pin going into each of the tubes just because that's me. Thanks a lot, guys.